Hi everyone. We're going to go over the new update that was made to HMH just a little while ago. Everything is still the same for the most part. I just wanted to make sure that we did a quick run through. That way no one was taken off guard or caught by surprise. So same thing to log in, hmhco.com. You click on login up here in the top right corner. And then you go down to the bottom part where it says access your HMH programs and you click login to ed. And then what I generally do is I have this page bookmarked. That's what these are right here. You just click on the star and it'll bookmark it for you. It auto-loaded for me because everything's already pre-saved in my computer. But we still use United States, Arizona, Westland School for District Independent School. Continue to sign in. And we can exit out of this tab right here. And just a quick apology if you hear any background noise. I do live very close to the Air Force Base, so if you hear jets, that's what that is. But for your username, usually it's going to be your email, my teacher one, my teacher account. I can't use my email. My email is with my admin account, so don't be confused if you see that differently. But here is the new update. Now, when you first log in, it's probably going to try and have you set up a demo class. Okay, I think the jets are done flying overhead for a while. When you first log in, it is going to make you do a demo class. Don't worry about it. Click through it. You can ignore it later. So don't worry too much about the demo class. But everything else is still going to be the same. It'll list all of your classes. I obviously have a lot because I help with training and I make these videos. And then Discover, still going to be the same. You come over here to the little drop down arrow where it says select a program, and you can select whatever subject or book that you need to get into. It'll still have the My Stuff option with my lessons, my assessments, my items shared with me, where you can essentially create lessons or create folders where you can put things that you want to use for easy access or quick reference in there. Also where you create your own assessments, all that jazz. So let's go back to home. And let's go into my HMH training class. So you click on view class and it'll give you different options. Now, if you teach just high school math or just high school science, so let's say like it's your Algebra 1 class, you won't have this subject. It'll just list the class up here. But because my HMH training class has several different books and different subjects, it'll give this option. So really the only people who are going to see this subject line right here is going to be any of our K through 5 teachers. But then it'll also list all your programs that are available to your students, like in their actual classroom right here. And then it'll give you a My Training pathway. If you guys want to go through those training pathways, please feel free to do that. Is if you can become even more of an expert on HMH, good on you. Good idea. It'll also give you a quick start guide, planning and pacing. And then right below it are your just quick overview of assignments that are due today, what needs grading, what's overdue. And then you'll see over here, we still have our same options. They're just not going to have words as the options as it used to before the update. So right here is our actual assignments where it gives you the, the assignments overview. And this will list your actual assignments, and then it'll show how many students have not started it, how many have it in progress, how many still need to be graded, and how many have been completed. And then you can also click on the assignment and adjust everything that you need to adjust. Same thing as always. Next one is going to be your group set. So again, if you are K through 5, we're not going to make an individual class on HMH for each of your subjects just because that makes it a little harder on you. But if you have different students that require differentiation in different groupings across subjects, so let's say little Sally Mae is really, really high in math and requires additional challenges, and that's like her differentiation in math. But then for some reason she's really low in reading and she needs differentiation where she needs additional skill practice, this is where you could go and you could do that. So that way you have an easy spot to go and assign those different, excuse me, those different differentiation options. So let's click on create a group set. So obviously I just have practice students. So let's say that this is going to be our reading groups. And then again, please don't make these labels super obvious for your students. So let's say you, well, your students won't see the names of their groups. So you can kind of call these whatever you want, but still be kind. Students are still going to catch glimpses of your laptops and your computers. But let's say you have a challenge group. So these are your students that you want to challenge because they need additional help. So let's say that 345 needs some extra challenges so that way they can keep growing and they don't get bored. Now let's say our next group is just below that. They're on grade level. So they're good with the standard bits. Maybe you give them a little bit more so we can keep pushing them to get into that challenge area. So let's say that's the high school. And then group 3, let's say that those are the kids where they're not quite on level, but they're not so far behind where you're like, oh dear. So we're going to call that the almost there. And let's say that that's junior high. And then you can add a group if you so choose. You don't have to do 4 groups. This is just how my brain is thinking of it. And so now let's say that this is our students that need a little extra help. And so let's say that's our K-12 practice student, okay? You would click Save and Done. And then now you have a reading group. So now we're going to create a different group set. And this one's going to be for our math kids. And so now let's say we have the same grouping. So I'm not going to change the names just because I'm being lazy. But let's say group 1 is our challenge. So now let's say K-12, they were in the lowest one in reading, but let's say they need a challenge in math. And then high school actually is super low and they need a lot of extra help in mathematics. And then 3, 4, 5 we'll say is right here and junior high is here. We'll click Save and Done. And now you have 2 different groups. And we'll go over how you can use those groups in just a second. Next one is going to be your class information. Please don't delete your class. It will make our lives much harder. Please don't click that button. So right here, it'll have the student's name, their username, the grade, and then the product placement. Usually it's only going to talk about Waggle Math here. So if you don't use Waggle Math and it says awaiting initial placement, don't worry about it, ignore it, it's fine. Now, if there is a student that is no longer in your classroom, you can delete them. Or if there's a new student and you need to add them, you can do that here as well. In the edit class, the only thing you can really do, because I know everyone wants to click on that edit class because it makes the most sense, but the only thing you can do in edit class is you can add a team teacher, you can change your grade level, and you can give your class a nickname. So if you want to use those, feel free. But if you want to add a student to a class, let's say you needed to add little Billy Sue. You would click here and start typing in that student's name. And then you just select that student and it'll add them to the class. So once you click on that student, this will become blue and you can click on it and the student will be added to your class. Now, if you don't see the student there, you can create a student, but you need to follow this exact platform. And I will make a separate video just on this, but first name, last name, their grade level, don't worry about the email. The username and the password has to be exactly how it looks in PowerSchool. So if you want to create your own students, you don't want to wait on anyone, feel free to do this. Please go look at the other video that I will be making about how to add students or how to create students. With that, you can also delete a student from your class. So we edit student settings. Oh, sorry. Student profile. It's my bad. So over here is where their classes are. So let's say they're no longer in your class. You just click on remove and you're good. Now, if they have other classes listed in here, do not remove them from another class that is not your own. You only remove students if they are from your original class. If it is a class that is not your own, please do not mess with any of those settings. Now down here is just our placement. Again, this is going to be for Waggle Math. You don't need to worry too much about it if you don't use Waggle Math. If you do, this is just going to be a place where you can see, oh, where's everyone currently at? So let's say 3, 4, or 5 tested in the 5th grade range. That's great. And let's say high school tested also in the 5th grade range. Since they're 10th grade, maybe that's not so great. And so on and so forth. And then right here is going to be our program settings. So this is where you can go and you can select what books you want available to your students. So here's all of our available pieces. And then once you unselect or select something, you have to click save and update. Otherwise, it's not going to actually do it. So everything is still the exact same as it was before they updated. Please do not be alarmed when you see this update. That's your quick basic run through.